All right. I'd like to hear from our guests. Good evening to everyone. And just give us a brief introduction, just your name and what brought you to this meeting. Let's start with, I'll go by who I see first. Let's start with Taylor. Welcome.
Hey guys, I'm Taylor Murray. I'm from Jacksonville, Florida. I've been in Miami for 10 years or so, and I've been meaning to join Toastmasters for a while to improve my public speaking. Where I'd like to go with my career, it would require a massive increase in my public speaking skills, and I get very nervous. So I'd like to conquer that fear. So here I am, day one.
All right, thank you, and I hope you can pull something away from this meeting. Let's jump to our guest, Fahad. Please introduce yourself.
Yes, hello everyone. My name is Fahad Rashban. I'm a law student in UM and my second year now. I've been trying to joining Toastmasters, but I didn't really have time since I'm in law school. So I'm rising. It's my third year next year. So I think I have more time next year to join Toastmasters.
Fantastic.
Thank you
for your introduction. Let's hear from our guest, Sophia.
Hi everyone, my name is Sophia Gnozzi. I am a director of sales for Hilton Property. And just like Taylor, been needing to do this for years already. So finally doing this, for my job, I really need to have confidence with public speaking. So here I am and happy to be here.
All right, and we're happy to have you. Hope you can pull something away from this meeting. I'm gonna jump from the top of my screen to somewhere down in the middle and say hello to Felix. Please introduce yourself.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Felix Jimenez. I have been doing public speaking since I had a full head of hair. So it's been a while, but there's always room for improvement. I am going to be speaking in public even more. You know, I want to improve my focus. Some of the things I'll be doing will be in some adversarial situations. So I just want to be a little bit sharper, and there's always room for improvement.
Absolutely, and Toastmasters is definitely the place to improve. We have our final guest that just joined us, Alvaro. Please unmute yourself and give us a brief introduction if you can.
Hello, I'm Alvaro. I just moved to Miami about 10 months ago, and I heard about Toastmasters. Well, I read about Toastmasters in a book, and I since got very interested, but never got the time to join until now. And I'm very happy to join. I want to practice my English because it's my second language. I've been struggling a lot with the English that it's spoken here in Miami because it's very tropical. And I want to improve my vocabulary, my confidence, and everything that comes with it. So thank you.
Thank you very much, Alvaro. Now let's jump into our meeting. You might be wondering, why does this guy have a whole bunch of coffee cups in his background? And that's because our meeting theme has to do with beverages. And I am a coffee fanatic. I drink it morning, afternoon, evening. It doesn't matter when, it's always a good time to have coffee. And I'm sure all of you have certain beverages that you enjoy, maybe some beverages that you drank regularly during your childhood, adulthood, whatever the case might be. But in this meeting, we're just going to go with our theme of beverages. We might have some table topics surrounding that, and we'll just jump right into it. Every Toastmasters meeting can be successful with a good group of functionaries. And the functionaries that I have helping me tonight will first start off with our timer, Catherine. Please let us know what you'll be doing for us.
Hi, everyone. As timer, I will time the table topic speakers, formal speeches, and the evaluations. I will also alert each speaker of the time they have left using the green, yellow, and red cards, which denote specific times remaining. Those giving speeches should limit their remarks to their specific speech times. At 5 minutes, I'll raise the green card. There we go. At 6 minutes, I will raise the yellow card, and at 7 minutes, the red card. For table topic speeches, the remarks should be limited to no more than 2 minutes. At 1 minute, I will raise the green. At 1 minute, 30 seconds, the yellow, and at 2 minutes, the red card. Then the visual evaluation should be between 2 to 3 minutes. At 2 minutes, I will raise the green card. At 2 minutes and 30 seconds, the yellow card, and at 3 minutes, the red card. Thank you.
Thank you, Catherine. It's so important that we stick to time, so thank you for doing that for us. Let's jump to our counter, Eric. Let's hear from you.
Thank you, Toastmaster. And my name is Eric, and I'll be the counter for the day. And basically, the purpose of the counter is to know words that are used as a crutch or as a pause filler by anyone who speaks. During the meeting, I will listen for overused words, including and, well, but, so, and you know. I will also listen for filler sounds, including and So that's my role for today. Thank you, and welcome, guys.
Thank you very much, Eric. Let's jump to our vote counter. Rachel, let's hear from you.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. My role as a vote counter is to count the vote for each speaker in the following sessions: table topic, prepared speech, and evaluation. Tonight, we have an ultimate showdown between Wei Wen and Brian, so looking forward to that. So please send me your vote through a private chat at the end of each session. And also, you're welcome to send the speaker of your comments through a private chat as well. Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster.
And thank you very much for sharing what you'll be doing for this meeting and helping this meeting to be successful. Every Toastmasters meeting has 3 segments. And the first one is prepared speeches. Our first speaker will be working in the team collaboration pathway in the project Motivate Others, giving the speech titled A Lesson in Leadership. Please welcome to the stage, Brian DeSimone.
Everyone, hello. Hopefully my internet does not time out, but if it does, please bear with me. Over the past couple of years, I've gone through somewhat of a career transition. For those of you who aren't keeping up and peeping and stalking my LinkedIn profile on a regular basis, it may be news to you that I used to be a manager of a Miami-based transportation business, a transportation company. Now, from a bird's eye view, transportation is a very simple concept. We have an estimated number of trips for the day. We have times and locations for pickup and drop off. As a team, all we have to do is not drop the ball, get you to your destination in time for your appointment. Simple enough. Now, when you get down to the operation level, just like any industry, the task tends to become a little more complicated. One fine Wednesday, I stroll into work just like any other day and find out that one of our main clients has increased our daily trip count by 60% without any warning. Increased business, never a bad thing, not going to turn down business by any means, but it does become a challenge when you don't have sufficient vehicles on the road to handle the increased volume. Needless to say, the environment in the office was stressed. My hair, that's what's when I started my losing my hair a little bit. My bald spots that I currently have because of this day. But I'm hiding it the best I can. On our operations team that day, we had 3 distinguished gentlemen running the show. Our operations manager, Oscar, our head dispatcher, Sammy, and his assistant, Ryan. In order for this day to be a success, I knew I would have to tap into my gift, that is team building, and keep everyone focused on the task. The first thing that needed to happen was to get some clarity on the situation. I called our client and was told that they lost a transportation provider in their network, and we would have to step in and cover all the trips. This seemed like an almost impossible task at the time. But the amount of drivers that we had available to us, it didn't seem like we'd be able to get this day done successfully. I immediately called our CEO for advice on the situation. At the time, he was away on a business trip, and I was relieved when he picked up the phone, as it was rare that he did whenever I called him. First ring, he picked it up. Oh, thank God. He's going to have a solution to this, no problem. He always does. So after explaining the situation, I'll never forget the 3 words that he relayed to me. Make it work. And he hung up the phone. That was it. We were on our own. I decided full transparency was the best approach to get the day started. I relayed that we would have no choice but to cover all the trips to my operations team and start letting the drivers know that we needed all hands on deck. With the team that I had with me on that day, I had worked there long enough and I had worked with them long enough to know what kept them going, what kept them motivated. It was going to be a long day. I needed their full effort throughout. Oscar, our operations manager, enjoyed the status that he had earned in the company. And I do not say earned lightly. He was one of the hardest workers I had ever seen. Coming to work every day, he knew every trip from A to Z, where it should be, what time it should be picked up. He knew passengers on a first name basis. It was his job to answer the phones from drivers coming in, give them updates, make sure they stayed on task. And he was pretty firm with his directions. Now, sometimes the drivers would get clever, try to get tricky and bypass him and come to me for the answer they wanted. But I made sure that he heard me when I told them, no, Oscar's the man with the plan. Whatever he said goes. Keeping that status of operations manager right there for him to see it. Now, Sammy, our dispatcher, one of the best in the biz, he was motivated by recognition of his work. Throughout the day, I kept checking in on him. Hey, Sammy, how's it going? How's progress coming along with the day? And no matter what the update was, good or bad, I reminded him that he was a wizard at his craft. Giving him positive reinforcement and letting him know that without his expert execution, we wouldn't get this day done. Ryan, his assistant, was newer to the team. And from what I could tell, he enjoyed being affiliated with the company. If I saw his line ringing off the hook, I'd jump in and answer a few calls for him to lighten his load. Let him know that he was a part of our team and that no job was too big or too small for any of us. He was a part of our team and he was crucial to it. And my job was to let him know that. As the day went on, it seemed that we might be able to get this task done. It seemed possible. It got hairy at a few spots. I even had to jump in the vehicle myself and pick up a passenger or two. But at the end of the day, we classified it. We classified it as a success. The CEO called me at the end of the day to say, "Good job, son. We'll make a leader out of you yet." I felt pretty good. But then he related the volume for the rest of the week had increased even more. And that's when my lesson in leadership was only just beginning. The real work was just getting started from that day forward. Mr. Toastmaster, back to you.
Thank you very much, Brian, for your speech. Let's jump to our second speaker. Our second speaker is working in the visionary communication path in the project Communicate Change. Giving the speech titled The Rookie Rafter, please welcome Wei-Wen Wong.
Can you see the slide?
Yes, we can.
Okay. Thank you. Did you ever sign up for something casually and regret it instantly when you realize it is completely different from what you expect? It happened to me recently when we went to the Great Smoky Mountain during the last Memorial Day long weekend. Usually, I'm the one who prepares a detailed itinerary for our vacation, but this time, my husband Mike volunteered. I did some preliminary research, so I just casually mentioned to Mike, hey, why don't we go rafting? I tried rafting when I was a little kid back in China, and this is how it looks like. Senior citizens looked very relaxed with their walking canes and parasols. By the way, parasols are a staple for Asians because we don't like to get tanned. Their clothes are completely dry, and their life jackets are just kind of accessory for show. And most importantly, did you see the guy in the back? He's doing all the hard work to move the boat, which doesn't look like a lot anyway, when all the passengers just sit comfortably on their bamboo chairs and enjoy the scenery. This was my impression of rafting and exactly my type of recreational activity. The Great Smoky Mountain vacation for me is not hiking for 7 hours on some muddy trail, but chilling in a hot tub in a log cabin and sit on some bamboo raft and enjoy the river view. There were some warning signs early on during the planning phase. When I casually mentioned rafting to Mike, he looked very surprised. Rafting? Are you sure? He asked me. Yeah, why not? You mean whitewater rafting? He asked again. Well, I didn't know the difference between whitewater rafting and regular river rafting, which I should have. And I said, yeah, sure, sign me up. When we arrived at the parking lot for rafting, I immediately smelled danger. Everyone who just finished rafting looked soaking wet and completely exhausted in their beat up life jacket, slowly walking back to their cars like they just returned from war. What is going on? And I saw some comic drawings in the waiting area, such as this one, which was not comic to me. Like, what happened to this poor guy? Soon, we were assigned with our guide and teammates, 7 of us in total. Our guide was a 21-year-old girl and looks as fit as an Olympic champion. When she gave us safety training, my heart sunk. The words thrown out, drowning, and death came up several times. And do you know, we actually have to paddle through class 3 to 4 rapids. By the way, class 6 is the maximum and basically suicidal. And you're telling me I have to depend my life on my husband and 6 other strangers? What happened to the Zen experience I was expecting? And do you know, you don't sit tucked in on the raft like a kayak. Instead, you're supposed to sit on the edge of the raft and put your foot in the crack as the only safety measure to hold you onto the raft. Using my feet as seatbelts? What happened to the bamboo chairs? The objective of my project is to communicate change to an audience. In order to do that, the first step is to communicate an unexpected change to oneself convincingly. This is what I learned from my first whitewater rafting experience. At the moment, I had 2 options. either chicken out or toughen up. So this is my thinking process. Usually, I would proudly chicken out of any risky activities. Never a fan of roller coasters. You cannot pay me $1 million to do bungee jumping or skydiving. But here's the thing. I'm also kind of cheap. Since we already prepaid for this rafting experience, I guess I'm willing to risk my life so that we don't waste that $94. Second of all, I saw kids ready to board the rafts. It cannot be that dangerous if an 8-year-old can do it, right? With those thoughts in mind, I embarked on my first whitewater rafting journey. And guess what? I had a blast. Of course, it was scary to paddle through the first several rapids, but once I got the hang of it, I actually enjoyed the adrenaline rush when I saw a swirling rapid ahead. Teamwork and resilience are the keys for this thrilling activity. When we were in calm water, we were able to chat with the guide. We made jokes, but when we were in a class 4 rapid, you paddle as your life literally depended on it. Who would thought I even learned a life lesson from this activity that I didn't expect I can handle? Here is a shot from my journey of first time rafting. Please ignore the ginormous watermark as I refuse to pay $50 for the original pictures. I told you I'm cheap, but I'm glad that I convinced myself to adapt to this unexpected change and had a memorable experience that I can brag about for a while. Thank you.
Thank you, Wei Wen. Let's hear from our timer. How did our speakers do?
There we go. Always have to transition from WebEx to Zoom and find my buttons again. So Brian, his time was 5:54, so he qualifies, and Wei Wen, yours was 6:58, so you qualify as well.
Awesome. So we have 2 qualifying speakers, which means that everyone can vote for their favorite speaker, whether it's Brian or Wei Wen, by sending a private message to our vote counter, Rachel. And now we're going to transition to the second segment of our Toastmasters meeting tonight, which is Table Topics. Table Topics is a section where members and guests, if they want to volunteer, can be put on the spot and answer questions at random. They will give a response between 1 and 2 minutes, as described by our timer, Catherine. And to lead us in this awesome and my personal favorite segment, Felicity Tinney Wilson, take it away.
Thank you, everyone. Brian, I'm trying to share and it says host has disabled participants. My sharing abilities have been disabled, Lucas.
You should be fine now.
There we go.
Yeah.
Perfect.
There you go. Thank you, Lucas. I tried to do it on my end and it seemed fine. I couldn't see anything. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Now let me just find this. A moment. Sorry, I'm trying to pull up the PowerPoint. Give me a moment.
I'll stop your sharing for now once you get it, and then you can reshare.
Okay. Okay, I'm ready. Here we go. Can everybody see my screen?
Yes, we can.
All righty. So as you all know, today's theme is beverages. Let's get started. All right. So what you see here are 4 glasses of beverages in different colors. Each glass contains a specific flavor. But in order for you to get the best flavor or flavors, you have to combine 2 or more. Rachel, which flavors would you combine to achieve your favorite flavor? Rachel.
Thank you, Madam Table Topic Master. Looking at all these 4 drinks, they all look to be really good. And then I'm trying to picture in my mind which drinks that I can mix together to make a blue color. I would say that I would mix the yellow and then the green color together, and then maybe add a little of that brown color drink in order to make a blue drink. And I don't know why when I'm looking at it, my first thought is to make a blue drink, but just looking at these colorful drinks, it reminded me of, I don't know what's it called in English, but the red and then the blue and then the yellow, all those 3 primary color together. So that just made me want to be creative and then to make that blue color drink. But also at the same time, I don't know what these drink, whether it contains alcohol or not, or whether what the flavor of the drink's gonna be. But hey, I mean, life is about adventures, and I like to try different things and then to be creative. So why not? So yeah, I think my choice would be to mix the yellow and then the green to make a blue drink and then see where that takes me. Thank you.
Awesome. Blue drink it is. Thank you, Rachel. Next. If you can think of a particular beverage that for you, it only requires 1 drop to go a long way, what beverage would that be? Lucas. If you can think of a particular beverage that only requires 1 drop to go a long way for you, what beverage would that be?
I think that beverage would be Coca-Cola because it's very sweet and it's a carbonated drink, which I don't really have a problem with. But it's one of those drinks where just that 1 drop, just that maybe that little sip is just enough. It might be breaking news, but Coca-Cola is not the most healthy beverage out there. So when I do have it, if I do have it, it's very limited, but just that drop is enough to give me that bit of a sugar fix, which I think we've all had Coca-Cola before. We all know it's sweet. We all know that it's a carbonated drink, and some of us enjoy it, some of us don't. But for me, that beverage certainly goes a long way. The high fructose corn syrup, the coloring. I mean, how can I argue with that? I even went to Atlanta to the Coca-Cola factory. It was an amazing time. Not only did I get a sip of a drop of Coca-Cola, but I got my own can upon entering the building. It was amazing. In sum, that is the beverage that just that 1 drop goes a long way for me because it is refreshing and tasteful. Back to you, Madam Table Topics Master.
Awesome, awesome. I want to see that that original can that you have. Share that next time. Okay. So I'm a huge James Bond fan. Every movie I've seen, I love it. I absolutely love it. So you were charged with planning a themed party, and it's a James Bond themed party. What James Bond beverage would you offer your guests? Catherine, you're preparing a themed party that's the James Bond themed party. What James Bond beverage would you offer your guests? Catherine.
Someone time me. I would offer, I actually don't know if I've ever seen a James Bond movie in full. Probably just the highlights from anything that came out in the 90s. So what I know of James Bond, I always think of it as something kind of a little bit dated to me. So therefore, I would reason that in my theme of James Bond, I could offer tiki drinks because those are dated as well. And I really know a crap ton about tiki drinks. So it's really in vogue right now, especially in Florida. You see a lot of tiki bars around, but you also see them in like random places like Utah. Supposedly there's an underground tiki bar, which also kind of goes with like the under secret, like kind of a top secret feel to it, which is James Bond, an undercover agent. And then I would offer my guests a tropical, like a rum runner, or like I'm running out of tiki drink names, of course, now on the spot, but like a rum runner or tequila sunrise or something like that. And then I would do it in something that's surprising. So not just like a tiki glass, but maybe something very dull. So when they take a sip, it's a surprise, just like an undercover agent. And that's it. Hopefully it's a good party.
Awesome. Undercover, secret, bring it. That sounds like James Bond to me. Thank you, Catherine. Next, I will call on one of our guests, if you don't mind. So, Clear Water vitamin-packed water is about to hit all the stores this summer. If you look at the display, it comes in a number of flavors. They even have the little display of how it is actually assembled. What would motivate you to try it? Eric, Clearwater vitamin packed water is about to hit the stores this summer. Looking at all the flavors, what would motivate you to try it? Eric.
Thank you, Table Topics. Madam, the flavor that I would try immediately, it's the blue. I'm very passionate about that color because it symbolizes like peace to me. So I love the ocean. So that's why I chose blue right away. And whenever I need to meditate, I look up at the sky. And that's what will motivate me. Those were the main two reasons that motivate me to try that. Also, I'm a adventurous person. So the thought of trying blood, it's interesting. I know, like, for example, in my countries of America, some people drink the blood of the turtle for healthy reasons. So I haven't tried it yet because I won't try that, but I'll definitely try this. So thank you for the question. Table Topics, Madam.
All right. Thank you, Eric. Thank you so much. All right. I think we will go with another guest. Fresh fish is always enticing, but most people say you pair it with white wine. Seafood pairs with white wine. What's your opinion? Taylor. Seafood is typically paired with white wine. What's your opinion?
If you don't mind, I would actually like to respectfully pass tonight. Just try to get my feet wet and just be an observer tonight.
All righty. So noted. All righty. Let's try Alvaro. How'd you like to take a stab at it? Fresh fish, seafood, typically. White wine is what's recommended. What's your opinion?
I like to pass too. I'm sorry.
Come on, give it a shot. White wine, give it a shot. Maybe it's not your thing. What do you think? What's your favorite beverage with seafood or fish?
No, no, please. Next time.
Okay. All righty. Let's try. I'm going to go to Sophie. How would you like to take that question? What is your opinion about pairing white wine with seafood?
I don't know much about wine. I would choose white wines. I love white wine, and my father is from Italy, and he's from the south. There's lots of seafood, so I kind of just grew up knowing that you pair white wine with seafood. That's really all I know, though.
Okay. All right. Anything you've heard, what have other people said that would make you lean towards, lean away from? What's your
No.
favorite beverage when you're eating seafood?
White wine, a nice Pinot is a nice pair with seafood, but yeah.
All right. Well, thank you for that. All right. Do we have time for another one?
Yes, we do, and I would highly recommend that Klaus get one.
All righty. So we're going to. The next question will be Klaus. It's all about the wine, Klaus. This is a white wine. It's a Chardonnay. Based on your wine experience, whether you drink wine or not, how would you describe this wine? Whether it's your description or somebody else's description, how would you describe this Chardonnay? Klaus.
Okay, thank you for the question. Always happy to step up, Lucas. Thank you for the suggestion. Okay, Chardonnay. I'm not the biggest fan of, well, I like a glass of wine, but I'm not the biggest connoisseur of wine. I wouldn't dare to give my knowledge. I don't dare to advise other people of what kind of wine they should drink. But in my personal experience, this is a wonderful wine. I don't dare to give my knowledge, but my grandfather does. That guy's an expert. He knows everything about wine. He has traveled all around the world, and he drinks this wine actually with seafood. He loves to drink seafood. He loves to have seafood with Chardonnay. And if he says that, then I say that. And other thing is that any bottle of wine that you put without the scenery will look amazing. Like for a publicity, you know, for an advertisement company. If you put it with those houses and that mountain and the sea, it looks amazing. So yeah, that's it.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing your grandfather's opinions of that. Thank you. Appreciate it. That's it, Lucas, or are we done with table topics or?
Yeah, we'll have
Good.
to cut it there, but thank you very much for listening.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for your speeches. I'm going to stop sharing, okay?
All right. Okay, let's hear from our timer, Catherine. How did our members do as far as time?
Okay, reading off just the members.
Right.
We have Rachel qualifies at 125, Lucas 127, myself at 130. Eric just made it. I couldn't even get my hand to the buzzer. You made it just in at one even. And then Claus at 106.
Okay, fantastic. So we have all qualifying table topic speakers, which means that you can send a private message to our vote counter, Rachel, to cast your vote for the best table topic speaker. When it comes to table topics, we only vote for members, but guests are more than welcome to submit their ballot for the best table topic speaker. You can go ahead and do that at your own leisure. We're going to jump to the third segment of any Toastmasters meeting, which is evaluations. This is where our prepared speakers get a lot of value and detailed constructive feedback on how they can improve as public speakers and presenters. Leading us off in this segment, I want to introduce our general evaluator, Mr. Patrick Flood.
Greetings, Toastmasters and guests. Thank you very much, Lucas. I am happy to be the meeting's general evaluator. And for guests, we're in the home stretch now. You know, the purpose of Toastmasters is to improve your public speaking with prepared speeches, with extemporaneous speeches, which are table topics, And then thirdly, with evaluations, which really rely on listening. And, that's a skill that goes very well with being an excellent public speaker, is really hearing what a person is saying and being able to provide feedback. That's the third part of the meeting. Our first evaluator who will be evaluating Brian DeSimone's speech is Jane Ruiz. Please welcome Jane.
Thank you, Mr. General Evaluator. Let me set my time over here. So I'm going to be evaluating Brian on his Pathways Level 4 speech, Team Collaboration, Motivate Others. The title of the speech is A Lesson in Leadership. So for those of you who don't know, Brian is an entertainer, naturally. He moonlights as a stand-up comedian, so he's very comfortable in front of an audience and is usually an entertaining storyteller, which tonight is no different. So Brian, you presented a story about team collaboration where you motivated others while you were working for a transportation company. You guys were faced with a 60% increase in traffic the last minute, and you tried to lean on a coworker, but they simply said, make it work. So it was like a sink or swim moment for you. Your tactics included being fully transparent with your team and using positive reinforcement to keep everybody going and to complete the job. So firstly, I want to say that you excelled at clarity. You always have a good pace when you're telling your stories. You rarely fumble your words. You really take your time to enunciate each word. So it's never, you are one of the clear speakers, I would say, in the your vocal variety is good. You had a comical storytelling, which involved variations of volume, variations of voice type. I noticed you had one good pause that you used to gather your thoughts. You didn't get nervous when you were trying to think of what you're going to say next. You took a moment to collect your place in your story. So that was good. You had good gestures. I noticed at the beginning you used a gesture like this for bird's eye view to really provide a visual for your audience. And you're always comfortable with your audience. You have a good comfort level, so that's good. I would say, if anything, if you want, what you might want to work on is eye contact. I know that it's Zoom, so it's kind of weird to say because the webcam's right there, but you have said that it's the hardest part for you. It's harder because you're not in front of an audience that you can communicate with, but I saw that you were kind of like doing this during the speech, and you're like huge as it is. So it's almost like you were also tall in the webcam, but maybe like next time, just like face head on. And I think your content could have been a little meatier because it's easy for you to lean on your storytelling flair, but I just wanted more content from the story and one more visuals, maybe just more context to what happens. And I would say that's about it. That concludes my evaluation. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Jane, for that excellent evaluation. Okay, I'm doing double duty, and I will be evaluating speaker 2, Wei-Wen Wong, whose speech was titled The Rookie Rafter. And Wei-Wen's Pathways path is visionary communication. Wei-Wen is one of our senior Toastmaster members and is an accomplished speaker like Brian. Wei-Wen, I thought your speech was excellent, a well thought out PowerPoint. What I sometimes struggle with these Zoom meetings and with PowerPoint is that you're more focused on the visual than on what the speaker's gestures and how they're connecting with people. But that was not an impediment, Wei-Wen. You started in trademark fashion by saying, have you ever signed up for something and immediately regretted it? And you posed a question, added some humor, and I think that resonated with everyone. Your language, your descriptions of the paracels, of the Asians who don't like to tan, all very funny and amusing. And again, with Toastmasters, the objective is to, is for all of us to be comfortable speaking and to have confidence. But when you're really good, like Wei Wen, you're telling a story. And she really set it up for us to be led along and think, well, what's going to happen here with this whitewater rafting trip? Is it going to be met with disaster? And you really led us along. You posed, the proverbial question, do you chicken out or toughen up? And, that's true of so many things in life. You used the phrase as fit as an Olympic champion. It was really well done. And then when you got to the actual whitewater rafting, you did a good job of explaining the adrenaline rush, the calmer floating periods. And I really thought it was well done. My only criticism was a small part where you kind of stepped out of your narrative storytelling to talk about your objective of the speech, which was fine, but it was kind of, I don't think it was necessary. And you were doing what you were tasked to do with the speech itself. So thank you so much for your speech. I thought it was excellent and very well done. Okay. So I guess we go to a timers report. Did we have 2 qualifying evaluators, Rachel?
We do. It's Catherine. We have 2 qualifiers.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Catherine.
257 and Patrick yourself at 233.
Okay, so please cast your votes. Okay, on to my general evaluation of the meeting. We started promptly at 7:05, which is our regular starting point. Again, it has been so challenging for this longstanding Toastmasters Club to host meetings virtually with Zoom. Brian and his officers have done an amazing job, but with that, we have frozen screens. We have a search for a presentation, the typical hiccups, and I thank everyone for sticking with it, especially the guests. 2 outstanding speeches by both Brian and Wei Wen, which will show guests what you can accomplish through Toastmasters, which is confidence and poise in telling a story. Felicity, I really liked your topics and the PowerPoint. My one suggestion with guests is to ask in advance. We want folks, on one hand, it's nice to put someone on the spot with table topics. It happens to all of us, but with a guest, we want them coming back. We want Taylor and Alvaro to return. And we don't want someone to say, you know what, I don't really know what this is to begin with. So asking permission probably would have been a better step, but I really enjoyed the PowerPoint and the thoughtfulness of the questions. I haven't been here in a month and I'm totally screwing up, but I now need to hand off to our functionaries, something I should have done at the start. Let's go to the different functionaries to let them report in on the results of the meeting, starting with our counter, Eric, a new member. Eric, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Patrick. And once again, hi, my name is Eric. I'm going to go over my counter report. For Brian, I have 2 ahs. Lucas, 1 so, 2 buts. Taylor, 4 ahs and 1 so. Patrick, 4 ah, 3 ums and 1 but. Felicity, just 1 so. Fahad, 4 ums, 2 so's. Klaus, 1 1 so and 1 but. Rachel, 3 ahs, 3 ums, 1 so and 1 but. Sophia, 1 ah and 4 ums. Catherine, 2 ahs and 1 and 1 so. Jane, 2 ums and 1 so. I didn't hear anything from Felix. Alvaro, I have 2 ahs and 2 ums. And Wei Wen, I have 1 like and 4 buts. And that's my report.
Thank you, Eric. There's another for you to add. Catherine, do we have a timers report, final report? I know we've reported in, but we've had all qualifying speeches, evaluators, and table topics.
Yeah, everyone's qualified, just not the guest during table topics. Do I need to type it out and put it in the chat? Or?
No, I'm just struggling here with my role as general evaluator. I think that is all, again, a fantastic meeting, and the second to last meeting under the reign of our outstanding president, Brian DeSimone. And I'm excited to learn about the new officers and the tasks at hand, and happy to be back attending this meeting. I will now hand back to our Toastmaster, Lucas.
Thank you very much, Patrick. And I will just mention that if you have not tested your ballot yet for Best Evaluator, please do so to our vote counter, Rachel. The ballot boxes will be closing shortly. So beverages, we had beverage themed table topics. We had some beverage themed Zoom backgrounds. I'll just say kudos to Brian for Hawaiian Punch. It's a classic. And me being a coffee addict, definitely had to have a coffee background. Now, I'd like to hand it off to our Vice President Education, Wei-Wen Wong.
Thank you, Lucas. I would like to call for the next meeting, which is on June 23rd. This is our last meeting under DeSimone administration. So who would like to be the Toastmaster of the evening, the host?
I'll be in Orlando. I am at a national conference all week that week, so I won't be at the meeting next time. Sorry.
I'll do it.
I understand. Oh, okay. All right. How about speakers? We have 3 slots.
I'll do it.
Rachel, okay. Anyone else? New members?
I'll give it a shot.
Felix, also you are a guest, so you're gonna join and give your
Yes, I'd like to join.
icebreaker?
Thank you.
Oh, great. Okay. I like the momentum. Who else? Okay, we're good for now. How about table topics, master? Who wants to challenge Felicity's creativity? No, not at this moment. Okay, general evaluators, anyone
Fine.
who?
I'll be a general evaluator, Wei-Wen.
Okay, great.
I'll evaluate.
Okay. All right, how about functionaries? Timers, vote counter, R counter, grammarian?
I can be a counter.
Okay, great. All right, I think we're good for now. I'll update the agenda on the website. Thank you. Back to you, Brian.
Thank you, Wei-Wen. Let's go over some quick club business while we're tallying up votes, and then we'll get to some guest suggestions before, or feedback, some guest feedback before we wrap it up here. Quickly, so next meeting, we will swear in our new officers that we named earlier. We'll go ahead and communicate that so everyone's on the same page. June 19th, that is a Saturday, I believe. There will be a new officer training. It's an hour of your time. They have multiple slots throughout the day. So I think they sent an email out. If you didn't get it, let me know. I'll forward it to you. And we'll get on the same page there so we can attend that meeting and get a point for the Distinguished Officer Club for Lucas. Get him a point there and get him on the way for his new term. That's all I have for club business. If anything comes up, I'll send an email and we will be in communication. Let's move on to our guest feedback for the evening. Let me start off, I'll go on a particular order here. Alvaro, coming up on my screen. Any feedback or suggestions from you, sir, on the meeting? Any thoughts?
Oh, yes, I really enjoyed it. I think I'm ready to join as well, but I really I don't like the part of the Zoom meeting. I would love to have it in person. I think we are ready. In Miami, everybody is it's forgetting about COVID and moving on, and I think we should too start meeting in person. And I'd be happy to join when that happened, because for me it's very awkward to have meetings on Zoom.
It's a great point, excellent point, and you actually bring up a good kind of segue there. We do normally meet before we lock down at Nicholas Children's Hospital in Coral Gables. We are looking for some other locations as a temporary go-to. Right now, the hospital is not letting vendors back in, but once they do, we will be sure to get in there and go back in person in our normal spot. It's a really good space. It's one of my favorite spots in Miami in terms of all the other Toastmaster locations. They have a really good boardroom there, meeting room. It's really conducive for public speaking. So hopefully once they give the green light there, we'll be able to head back sooner rather than later. So good point there, Alvaro. Thank you. Let's go on to Fahad. Any feedback?
No, thank you. I really enjoyed the meeting. I did go to Toastmaster like back in maybe 6 years ago or some years ago, but it was a different process. The table topics, it wasn't like the people who weren't called on, but on the spot, they would raise their hands and go on. Is this a different process or?
Yeah, I mean, there's a certain guideline that every club goes through, but every club kind of has they put a little bit of their own spin on it. We like to call on it randomly. We don't like to let the speaker know that they're about to be called on. It kind of makes it a little more of a pressure situation, makes you really think on your toes there. So that's how we like it here. It's my favorite part of the meeting, getting called on randomly. So that's how we do it. Other clubs maybe do a little differently, but that's how we like it.
Okay, thanks.
Perfect. Thank you so much. That's cool to know. I didn't know. I haven't been to a club that's done that differently, so it's cool to know that they do. Taylor, sir.
I enjoyed it. Thank you for letting me be a guest tonight. I will certainly be back. I really need to conquer my fears. I really just wanted to get my feet wet tonight and get an understanding of what this was all about. And I know a little more about it now, so happy to move forward. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you, sir. And as always, for all the guests, the door is always open. You're more than welcome to come back as many times as a guest. There is no limit. So feel free to come on in and join us every second and fourth Wednesday of the month. Sophia, please, feedback from you.
I thought it was really great. I don't have any suggestions. Actually, it was more than what I was expecting. A little nerve-wracking, to be honest. I didn't realize that something so simple as little subjects, table talk. I mean, yeah, that made me incredibly nervous. So I definitely will be back. Thanks to Taylor. Taylor had suggested doing this. So definitely will be back. And hopefully this will help me get over my fear of public speaking. But you guys have been amazing. So thank you.
Excellent. Thank you. And thank you for going out on a limb and answering that table topic question. It's not always easy. So thank you for stepping up and taking on that challenge. It's really great. Last but not least, giving a speech, giving his icebreaker next meeting on the agenda, Felix, sir.
Well, thank you very much. I found the speakers incredibly talented. The table topics was really fun. I've never seen that before. And I threw myself out there as fresh blood, so I can't wait for the criticisms so I can learn from my mistakes. There's a couple of ums already, so I'm keeping count myself, but I'm really looking forward to it. I'm going to need some instruction also as to what to expect. And Fahad, I also agree with him. I'd love to go back to in person. Looking forward to that as well. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you, sir. Yeah, hopefully soon. We're all looking forward to it for sure. Rachel, are we good with votes? Do we have a set winners for our competitions tonight?
Yes, we do, Brian. So for the best evaluator, we have Jane as our winner of the evening. Congratulations, Jane. And for the best table topic, we have Klaus as our best speaker of the evening. Congratulations, Klaus. And here I'd just like to mention that, so for all of our participants who are members, you guys have all received several votes. So that's great. So everyone did a great job. And finally, we have the best speaker of the evening for the prepared speech. So we have Wei Wen Wang for the best speaker of the evening. Congratulations, guys.
Excellent. Thank you, Rachel. Congratulations to our winners of the evening. Wei Wen, I'll get you next time. Unacceptable on my end. Good job, Wei Wen. Lucas, I will hand it to you if you want to take the screenshot for our social media, guests. If you're not comfortable with that, go ahead and you can feel free to black your screen. It's no problem. But we'll just take a quick screenshot and post it to our social media pages.
Okay, so I'm gonna give us a countdown. Put on your best smile. 3, 2, 1. Thank you, everyone. Back to you, Brian.
Thank you. With that, I will make a motion to end this meeting. If there's any objections, please raise your hand. If there's anything anyone needs to say. Okay, seeing no objections, I now call this meeting to an end, an order to the meeting. Thank you so much for everyone coming out. It's been an absolute pleasure joining you tonight. I'll stick around for a brief couple minutes if anyone has any questions, any guests have any questions. But other than that, have a great evening, everyone. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Brian. So Brian, have Nicholas Children's has said no to returning, at least for the time being?
Yeah, they're not taking any vendors.